I'm just starting the recording as well. Yeah, my whiteboard is also ready. So today the topic is Terraform basically, many people might be heard about this word, or if you're not here also, not really a problem. Terraform. So Terraform is kind of a declarative kind of a language basically. So where we can use, what is the use of this functionality, why this tool is more reputed across the, especially DevOps kind of a best practice, and what is the use of these, what is the role of organizations in the projects, especially in order to automate of the infrastructure. We are calling as a main IAC, means infrastructure as a code. Infrastructure as a code, like that. So mainly Terraform is using for doing for automation purpose. What is automation? Nothing but you have to write some set of resources, and you need to do provisioning of the set of resources. It could be anything, it could be application, it could be any GCP services, it could be anything. Because till before now, before this topic, I need to summarize something what we have done so far. Initially, what we have done a lot of services, GCP services like virtual machine storage accounts, app engines, load functions, lot of things we have done by manual configurations. Later on, what we have done, we have created the pipelines as well, like CI/CD pipeline and deployments, application deployments. And next, together, we have hosted our application into internet. But everywhere, somewhere, we are using all kind of a manual interventions basically. Like if I want to create virtual machine, I need to go sometimes console, sometimes CLI commands. But anyhow, I need to log in, I need to create it, and I need to deploy it. So here manual intervention is required to avoid such a kind of a situation. So infrastructure as a code is come to the picture as a part of DevOps best practices here. So Terraform is one of the best tool in order to using as a part of infrastructure as a service. So Terraform is generic tool. This is not at all only for GCP. It can be used for GCP. It can use for AWS. It can use for Azure. It can use for Oracle. Simply any cloud vendor. Okay, simply any cloud vendor. Terraform tool is the generic tool. It can be very flexible in order to doing the infrastructure as a code for GCP, AWS, Azure, Oracle, etc., across the any kind of a cloud tool across the world here. But what is the benefit of this? What are the advantages? What it can does? And we can have a discussion today. Then once we understand the functionality about functional and implementation of Terraform, then we can start the lab sessions as well. 1 second. So let's go to, first of all, you have to understand first what is infrastructure as a code. Okay. First of all, the fundamental principle of DevOps is we need to treat as an infrastructure for any kind of a developer's code. You know very well, developers will implement the code, they will check in the code into repositories, nothing but a version control systems here. But still, we need to modernize how we can maintain and do infrastructure as a code. First of all, the term infrastructure as a code, we have to understood very deeper, because otherwise you can't understand how Terraform will does and XYZ. First, you have to understand the term infrastructure as a code here. So I need to give one live example. Let's say I have one XYZ project. Okay, this project is being used by some .NET application, and this .NET application is needed some infrastructure. Let's say 10 set of virtual machines, 10 set of storage buckets, along with softwares, along with deployments, like that. Means if I want to implement one project in my case, I'm taking as a .NET. I need infrastructure. Are you agreed or not? మనకి ఇన్ఫ్రాస్ట్రక్చర్ కావాలి కదా ఒక ప్రాజెక్ట్ ని ఇంప్లిమెంట్ చేయడానికి. ఇట్ కుడ్ బి వర్చువల్ మెషిన్స్, ఇట్ కుడ్ బి సాఫ్ట్వేర్స్, ఇట్ కుడ్ బి storage buckets, any service. Infrastructure nothing but not only one. We have a lot of services inside the GCP. We can use according to your situation. Simply, I have taken 4 services here. Once infrastructure is ready, your application is ready, then this application has to be hosted. In our case, we have 2 deployments. Once your application code is ready, then your infrastructure code is ready, then we are doing the deployment. Still now we know about the strategies. But when you're talking about infrastructure as a code, then everything is automated here from scratch level to deployment level. Let's come to here. What is a complete in the sense? If you see here this diagram, the first thing is user or developer. Let me increase this. Maybe I need to, let me put it, yeah. Yeah, if you see here, the workflow of infrastructure as a code, user or developer means developer will write the code, you know very well, and infrastructure code will write by us, like cloud engineers, like GCP cloud engineers like us. Then we are pushing the code into our repositories. In our case, we have a resource repositories like Google repositories and third-party repositories like Bitbucket. From there, by using of API server, what is API server? Application program interface server. Automatically, my cloud infrastructure has to be provisioned. No need to go, no need to create VM, no need to, I need to create bucket. No, everything I need to write inside my infrastructure code, like using of Terraform here. Means I have to write, let's say, as per this example, I need to write a code for 10 virtual machine. Don't panic. Here not at all a programming code here. Very simple declarative language. Very simple. Even though small people also they can understand. Even though non-technical people also easily understood that code. Even though I am not from my coding background. Okay. Here it is a very declarative language. What is declarative language? Simply I can need to declare some kind of parameters. Then I need to go ahead with that. We have seen templates, right? When you are using VM templates, or JSON kind of a templates for some. Yes, please. So when we have seen in the past, in our daily practices, sometimes we have seen JSON code, right? Similar kind of a pattern. Soon I can show you sample example as well. Don't bother about that. So I need to write a code for 10 virtual machine provisioning. I need to write a code for 10 storage buckets. I need to write a code for containers where I can put my software. I need to write a pipeline creation by using of YAML file for my deployments. Means everything I need to create as a blueprint and put it into some area where we are calling as a version control system. From there, by clicking of single button, it has to be provisioning my infrastructure. It has to be deploying my CI/CD deployments. Just single button. So till now, what we are doing, we need to set up, we need to provisioning, we need to go CI pipeline, CD pipeline, set there. Then we are setting our project here. But here, my customer is expecting everything should be automated. What is the use of this? Soon I can explain what is about that. But still, you have to understood here, first infrastructure as a code first. Then if you come here, once I write it the code, then I can push or pull by using a version control system. You know very well what is version control system. By using a pull and push, we can put our code, we can push our code. So by using layer of API, which is the application program infrastructure, automatically my infrastructure will be provisioning just triggered by single button. Okay, so this is on-prem, this is the cloud. Yeah, any infrastructure, doesn't matter only for this cloud. No, we can do it for on-prem as well. But anyhow, nowadays nobody will not use any on-prem infrastructure because all are moving into cloud here. Then we can do cloud infrastructure provisioning by using of this infrastructure as a code here basically. So but what the benefit? Because if you are introducing something, benefits and drawbacks are most important here. If you see here, infrastructure as a code benefits. In the interview panel, they will ask you, Terraform also will cover around 5 to 7 minutes in your 30 minutes. Like how I can say AKS minimum 7 minutes, CI/CD pipeline, it will cover around 5 minutes. Like that way, infrastructure as a code and have you get a chance to work with that in the sense, if we have experience by using of Terraform kind of a implementation, end-to-end implementation, again, you can cover by 5 minutes. Means almost you are very good with 17 minutes out of 30 minutes in the ideal scenario in technical discussions. And these three topics will give very good impression in the technical explanation as well. So coming into infrastructure as a code benefits, the first point is configuration consistency, most important. Let's go take some real-time example, then we do have a discussions. Yeah, let's say I'm taking one team member here. Let me take one member from our team, like Mahesh. Okay. So Mahesh has developed one infrastructure. Okay. So my customer asked to Mahesh, please provisioning some 10 virtual machine along with some requirement like buckets and all services he requested like that. So first what Mahesh has done by manual, okay, by manual, he has deployed some virtual machine up to the mark whatever client is asked. But due to some reasons, he forgot to he forgot to deploy one bucket. Just maybe we are humans, right? Sometimes it will happen. Sometimes we will forget because since we are not machines, we are humans. The mistakes will done by humans only. System will not at all do mistakes. So by mistakenly, he forgot to implement or deploy one bucket out of this particular requirement here. What happened? There is a inconsistency problem. Means whatever the requirement is there, there is a choice. Might be, it's a very small example. So there is a choice, we might be forget some kind of a configuration, not only bucket. Sometimes you might be miss software, sometimes we might be miss networks, sometimes we might be miss IP address assignments. Because even though we are following the steps, sometimes we can forget because that's the natural behavior by the humans basically. Means simply it is stating that there is a chance inconsistency in terms of missing the things, something like that. But in the same scenario, let's write by some other people like Malesh something. This person, same requirement is same, written in IAC, infrastructure as a code, using by some Terraform tool. We have a lot of tool guys for Terraform, like Ansible. We have a Python scripts and everything. No, because people are not all go for programming languages. That's why this Terraform tool is very reputed because it's a very simple declarative language. Very simple. I can show you soon. First, you have to understand the functionality about this. So the same requirement Mahesh has written in Terraform files. By using of this Terraform, there is not at all a chance to miss anything. Here you might ask, here also human only writing. Yeah, I can agree that. Still here we have a test cases. What is test cases in the sense? I have to do everything validate. Okay, 10 VMs are there or not, 10 buckets are there or not. Everything I can do check. Before provisioning my infrastructure, every check I have to do that. So this check and validation kind of things to deny such a kind of situations by whatever doing by manual mistakes here. That is called consistency. Means there is not at all, there is 200% chance we cannot lose any kind of we cannot miss any kind of a configuration thing here. That is called end-to-end kind of a consistency. Even though this is a Scratch project. Now I have developed in the month of April. Okay. After a lot of enhancements, let's say there was 100 enhancement what happened in the future. Even though if you see in July, the same consistency will happen by using of Act infrastructure as a code. It will remain same consistency. It won't miss single configuration. It won't miss single file. It won't miss single kind of a change. Nothing but it will track consistency level. It will not like a inconsistency level. Let me take another example. Here, Mahesh is done something. Later on, he has configured again missing thing. Again, some Ravi person came in your team. He has deployed something which is both are not in the same page. Maybe sometimes happen because right, I am deploying something, you are deploying something. If there is no consistency, it will be a mesh up. Even though you are using version control system, it will be a mesh up, right? Because I configured virtual machine, you configure storage account, there is no sync. Then what is the use of that? There is no consistency. Like that way, in order to avoid such a kind of a situations, we need to maintain a piece of my infrastructure code in a very disciplined manner as a part of DevOps practice, infrastructure code as a very good best practice. In that context, we are talking about Terraform here. So the first possibility is configuration consistency. IAC completely standardizes the setup of infrastructure, so there is a reduced possibility of any errors and deviations. Just now explained here. This will decrease the chances of incompatibility issues with your infrastructure and help your applications run more smoothly. Let's say the last point I would like to say here. This point I didn't get a chance to give an example here. Let me give an example. So infrastructure and help your application run very smoothly. Why? Because let's say one more example, because these are advantages, guys. Okay. Let's say I'm using one .NET application. This software is using 2.3.0 version. Then example in Kubernetes GKE. If I don't have, of course, in the productions, we have a setups and everything. We have a cluster setups, we have GKE setups and everything here. If my software version is not consistency, what would be the happen? Let's say in dev, my cloud engineer configured 2.1.0. In UAT, my engineer is configured 2.1.0. In PP, my cloud engineer configured 2.2.0. And in production, this is manual work. Okay. In production, my cloud engineer configured again 1.1.0. Simply, maybe these are the mistakes only, right? Means there is no inconsistency here. So whatever testing or whenever my users is using dev, few scenarios will work, few scenarios will not work. Because here we have a 2.0, maybe customer application team, they have done some changes which is related to 2.2.0. That kind of a scenario, in dev, it won't work. In UAT, it won't work. In PP, it is work. In production, it won't work. Means it's kind of a mesh up. So customer will really panic situations because their business is working PP, but it is not working dev UAT production because of the version incompatibility. Sorry, inconsistency level, not incompatibility, inconsistency level here. Because whatever developer has written the code, that is completely belongs to 2.2.0, which will not work under 2.1.0. But my cloud engineer, due to some mistake, humanly, they have deployed or they have installed inconsistency software. The same software he or she has installed in different environments in different versions. Maybe mistakes. So in order to troubleshoot, he or she has to come, he has to check everything dev, nothing is there 2.1.0, UAT is there, then you have to compare dev and PP, what are the differences there, and after spending of many hours in terms of troubleshooting, they might to came to know, okay, version is different. See the silly reason. Because here there is a chance in order to running the smooth applications to avoid such a kind of situations, we have a ACK. Then come to ACK. What ACK can do? In ACK, in the file, I can return the version 2.2.0 in a file. The same template I can use for dev, I can use for UAT, I can use for pre-production, I can use for production. See the beauty of automation. I'm using only one template, but if I'm doing deployment, same template I am taking, nothing will change because my application is same, my infrastructure is same. Could be virtual machines count is different, maybe buckets, that would be really good. But the way of versions, the way of application software, everything is same. Nothing will not change. So in this concept, is there any chance to mistake in terms of like this? No, right? The consistency is here because in my template, I have been standard my default value 2.2.0. The same template when I'm deploying here, it will take 2.2.0. It will take 2.2.0. It will take 2.2.0. It will take 2.2.0. There is not at all a possibility to skip and bring back to 2.1.0 because here we are doing automation. We are not doing manual work here. Let's say manual work means let's get dev go 2.2.0. Let's UAT. I can go template modify 2.1. No, it's not like that. Single template I can provisioning and deploy in n number of environments like dev, UAT, PP, and production. There is not at all a chance to having such a kind of a blunder mistakes. This is just example here. Let's talk about the configuration. Let's talk about the deployments. So coming to the point now, configuration and coming to deployment part. Let's say my pipeline is ready. Okay, my pipeline is ready. Everything went to production. Super. Then once my pipeline is created, my business will keep on grow and keep on changes will happen. So you know very well, sometimes application checking the code, then we are triggering the job, we are deploying the job, everything here. Just assume that in my pipeline, again, I will take development environment, UAT environment, pre-production environment, and production environment. Let's say some change happened, CR, you know very well what is CR. Change request happened. As per DevOps best policy, everything it has to go first, development first. From development only, it has to go UAT. From UAT only, it has to go PP. From PP only, it has to go production. This is the workflow of your operational model. DevOps. I explained you very well, right, about these pipelines in the class of GCP DevOps class. So my pipeline is set like this way. Just assume that if you are not at all using infrastructure as a code, simply what cloud engineers will do, manually they will take the code from development, simply directly they will deploy into pre-production. Yeah, it's not a wrong, but it's completely come under non-best practices basically. Why? Because simply let's say you have 4 team members. I am doing this without telling to team members, simply manually I log into dev. I am taken from my CI/CD pipeline, then simply I can route to pre-production bypassing by UAT. Then again from my team member like Ravi, I'm just taking as a name, so okay. Ravi, he came to know for next deployment, simply he will take from UAT. What he is thinking that might be I have taken from UAT only, because the best practice is if I want to do pre-production deployment, the previous environment only I have to take the code. That is the process. That is the best practice. What he's thinking, Sheikh has taken the code from the UAT in previous deployment, but I have taken from development. See the drawbacks about manual things here. Because the confusions, because we are humans, we are working on a shift-wise basis here. So all should be together in the same page means sometimes it could be mesh up. Right? Even though we are in the same track, even though we are sending emails also, sometimes we are also we are missing the emails as well, right? But so if customers see such a kind of a situations, they will really fed up actually. So to avoid such a kind of a situations, what is the process to avoid this kind of a situation? In the sense, only infrastructure code will give very best practices here, because my piece of code will take the artifacts only from dev into UAT. My piece of code will take the artifacts nothing but a code, UAT to only P. Because if I'm triggering UAT button in pipeline button, it will take my automation code from dev only. It won't take PP, it won't take production, because we have to set up pipeline like that way in the IAC. Means I need to design workflow in my IAC like this way. Okay, UAT means it has to take only development. PP means it has to take only from UAT, not from the dev. Production means it has to take only PP. Why? Because code should be consistency. Otherwise, let's say in the same example, if Ravi came taking UAT and doing deployment in PP, but Sheikh has done from development already in previous deployment, these two deployments will fail definitely, because there is no code existency there. I have done something, Ravi has done something which is non-consistency, then and Ravi code has having old code, my code is having latest code, both will pipeline break. If pipeline is break, you know very well what happens in the production. PEP, at least I can ignore, no problem. If something happened, you can go and you can revert and you can take it as a no problem. I can manage with my manager, I can manage with my application team somehow, then I can deal with my supply chain management team. But same thing if happened in the production, what happened? A lot of things we have to give explanations. So to avoid such a kind of things fed up by a lot of customers, then technology has introduced this kind of infrastructure as a code, and Terraform is one of the best practice as a part of GCP DevOps engineering team. Then we need to learn this kind of a best practices. I'm not saying it is a mandatory, but no, a lot of reputed organizations to avoid such a kind of a production failures, because production failures will give more pain to the customer. ఒక pipeline break అయితే weekend schedule లో again customer has to wait for 10 days for that particular change. Let's say I'm maintaining my business. Tomorrow I think so Ugadi, something like that. I need to implement one change in my business enhancement. I'm introducing one new service to the customers as a part of Ugadi festival. Simply today night deployment is failed. What happened? My customer will lose entire festival session, whatever they introduce the new service, because the new service is not at all available because of deployment failure. Yeah, we can do by spending night hours and everything. మనం fix చేసి లోపే it's taken time like 2 to 3 hours. Why I should face such a kind of a situations? If I have very disciplined kind of a pipelines, if I have very disciplined kind of a deployment strategy, like let's say automation of infrastructure as a code by using of Terraform kind of a tools, then I can do it less, right? Customer will be very happy. Why? Because there is not at all a chance to pipeline with, maybe due to some other technical reason, maybe it can be fail, but still we can avoid manual kind of mistakes. We can avoid manual kind of inconsistent matter. We can avoid manual kind of a blunder mistakes, because we are humans, anything will happen, but system will not do any mistake. Why? System code has been by human only again, but that will come lot of after testings only we can do employment, right? మనం టెస్ట్ చేసే మనం సిస్టమ్కి చెప్తాం ఈ విధంగా వర్క్ ఫ్లో డిజైన్ చేయమని చెప్పి. బ్లైండ్ గా మనం డైరెక్ట్ ప్రొడక్షన్ చేయం కదా. సో వెన్స్ యూ రైట్ ఎ సిస్టమ్ కోడ్ ఇన్ టు యువర్ సిస్టమ్ అండ్ టెల్లింగ్ టు సిస్టమ్ విల్ నాట్ డూ ఎనీ మిస్టేక్. బట్ హ్యూమన్ అదే మీకు ఎన్ని స్టెప్స్ రాసి ఒక డాక్యుమెంట్ ఇచ్చినా వాడు తప్పు చేయడానికి ఛాన్స్ ఉంది. లెట్స్ సే ఐ హావ్ గివెన్ డిప్లాయ్మెంటేషన్ డాక్యుమెంట్ టు సమ్ Ravi. Okay, I have given all step by steps neatly in the documentation, but still there is a chance ఏదో ఒక స్టెప్ మిస్ అవ్వడానికి. ఆ ఒక్క స్టెప్ మిస్ అవ్వడానికి చాలు మొత్తం పైప్లైన్ బ్రేక్ అవ్వడానికి. Okay, so that kind of a situations we need to avoid by using of this kind of a benefit. And cost reduction, of course, here also cost will come to the picture. Like manual efforts అవాయిడ్ చేస్తున్నాం అంటే ఆటోమేటికలీ కాస్ట్ మనం సేవ్ చేస్తున్నట్టే. లెట్స్ సే మాన్యువల్ ఎఫర్ట్స్ ఇన్ ద సేమ్, ఇఫ్ ఐఎమ్ డూయింగ్ మాన్యువల్ మీన్స్ కస్టమర్ నీడ్ రిసోర్సెస్. Let's say I have some kind of a bulk of production environments. If I'm maintaining these production environments by using of manual means, he need at least 10 or 15 engineers, cloud engineers, right? Because production is very big, almost 100 applications, something like that. Means customer need, if you don't have such a kind of automations, definitely customer need to get more requirement. But if you have this kind of a simple automation, just clicking on single button means we don't need that much of engineers. Out of 15, even though we have 8 to 9 members also, it is really good. So that is why in the context of by removing the manual component, people are able to focus their efforts towards their tasks. If I created one workflow, some people are calling task, some people are calling workflow, both are same only. Once I design this kind of automate, one-time setup these are, maybe we can do some kind of enhancement, but the pipeline of infrastructure as a code is a single time setups. So if one time I create the task or workflows, then it's a reusability. Then ముగ్గురు చేసే పని ఒకరు చేస్తారు అంతే, simply I can say. And coming to speed, yeah, speed is not big deal, because any technology, any tool is giving very speed in order to provisioning your code, in order to provisioning your pipelines and everything. Yeah, here also infrastructure as a code allows the faster execution. When I'm trying to use command, when I'm trying to trigger that my particular automation button, then provisioning will happen very fastly. Let's say when I'm doing manual virtual machine deployment, it will take it will take around 2 or 3 minutes sometimes. But when I'm doing using infrastructure as a code, it will take hardly 15 to 20 seconds only. So just an example I'm telling with virtual machine, it would be applicable for all GKE services and components. And coming to stable and scalable environment, just now explained this scenario. ISC delivers stable environments rapidly and at scale. Teams avoid manual configuration of environments. Did you see this point? Teams avoid manual configuration. So we can avoid such a kind of things by using of this infrastructure as a code and reduce the risk. Just know this point also explained. Automation removes the risk and associated with the human errors. Okay, human errors, because there is a risk. If I did human error in the production deployments or configurations, there is a risk because customer will lose the business sometimes. One second, guys. Yeah, coming to test, this point also I just covered. Even though infrastructure as a code will be written by humans only, telling to the system here, but we are doing proper test, then only we can moving into our environments here. Here also, infrastructure as a code enables dev teams to test application in production like environments early in the development cycle. See the beauty of this, early in the development cycle, right? Means before pushing into my end-to-end, then I do have a proper test. Then there is no chance to miss, I would say anything, because the testing team will do all kind of tests, whether VMs are there, whether storage bucket is created or not, whether this case is, they will write all high level and low level test cases. They will do proper test, whatever we have done infrastructure as a code, then only testing team will give sign up. So this testing kind of a part, we have a dedicated testing teams in our organizations. They will do test cases. Then once they give a sign off, then only my infrastructure as a code will, moving into high level environments like that. On accountability, of course, since you can version in act configuration files like any source code file, you have full traceability and other. Okay, I don't like theoretical part. Let's come to practical. Live example here. Accountability, most important. Yeah, accountability. What is that? Let's say I have write one code, okay, ISC code. This code is whatever I have written, I am the accountability. Why? My check-in will see in my version control system, whatever I have check-ins, every check-in, my user ID will be printed, my commit ID will be printed, my username is showing inside my version control system like G repositories. Last time I shows you, right? Every commit ID, it will be trackable. Here also, whatever I have written the code, I am the custodian for that, or accountable to custodian, whatever. Because I am the POC for that. It means point of contact. Anything happen, you are the accountability. Like that, in the entire time of cloud engineering team, like Ravi and some XYZ, ABC people, anybody, they will write the code, all are accountability for the entire project. Means you are the custodian for that. You are the POC, point of contact for them, for the customer, inside whatever you are implementing the projects. It could be anything. I have written the code for a virtual machine. Ravi has written the code for CI/CD pipeline, and XYZ people write the code for some GKE cluster. ABC has written the code for module for some kind of app in Google engine, app engine. We have a lot of services, right? So all are accountability for your infrastructure as a code. If something is not working, you are the POC. POC means point of contact. POC, point of contact. Let's say I have written for virtual machine. If something is happened in this thing, Sheikh has to be the accountability and POC for the customer. Means I need to take care of everything here. Like that way, we can do segregation the work, and you are the accountability or custodians, and for respect to areas, whatever you assign the task for you. Then, sorry. Next, documentation and enhanced security. This is very, not that much of important. Documentation means here, not technical way, but nowadays people are doing some misusing kind of behaviors in the organization. Why documentation is come to the picture here in the sense, let's say Sheikh has developed one code for virtual machine. Simply he has resigned the job. Okay, just an example. He has resigned the job because of some different reasons. Whatever I have written, if I don't have, if I do not prepare the documentation, what happened? Someone replaced by me in future after 1 month or 2 months, someone replaced by me, even though I have given KT sessions to the new guy, even though I have given the KT sessions to new guy, without documentation, the new person, how much he or she can remember without proper documentation. After I left, after I left the organization, if something is wrong in my ISC code, the new person will take a lot of time to troubleshoot because he or she doesn't return that code. I have returned. I know that where is the key area. So such a kind of a dependencies people are creating nowadays and demanding their, ఏమంటారు demanding, I mean, what ఏమంటారు అంటే, I forget that word. One second, అంటే వాళ్ళ యొక్క పొజిషన్ ని మెయింటైన్ చేయడానికి మిస్యూజ్ చేద్దాం ఏమంటారు. అరే యార్, మన డైలీ వర్డ్, దట్ ఈస్ మై డైలీ వర్డ్. అంటే మనం నాలెడ్జ్ ని షేర్ చేయకుండా టీంలో వాళ్ళ దగ్గరే ఉంచుకుంటారు. దాన్ని ఏమంటారు గైస్? డిమాండ్ పెంచుకుంటారు. డిమాండ్ ఇస్ నాట్ రైట్ వర్డ్, ఐ గెస్. ఇన్సెక్యూరిటీ ఫీల్ అయ్యి దాన్ని ఏమంటారు? లెట్స్ సే నేను ఒకటి ఇంప్లిమెంట్ చేశాను ప్రాజెక్ట్ లో, అది నేను వేరేకి ఎవరికి చెప్పకుండా నా దగ్గర దాచిపెట్టుకున్నా. జస్ట్ లైట్ గా కేటీ ఇచ్చేసాను అండ్ దాన్ని నా యొక్క, దాన్ని ఏమంటారు గైస్, మర్చిపోయాను నేను. గుర్తు రావట్లేదు, నా రెగ్యులర్ వర్డ్ అది గుర్తు రావట్లేదు, సారీ. యా, దట్ మీన్స్ someone has prepared something without telling to, I mean, knowledge share చేయకుండా, వితౌట్ చేయకుండా డిమాండ్ పెంచుకొని, లేకపోతే మేనేజర్ మీద కోపంతో వాళ్ళకి ఈ విధంగా ప్రాబ్లం క్రియేట్ చేసి వెళ్ళిపోతారు. ఎవరు, the people who are joined as a new, even though he or she having the KT, it is very difficult to understand the existing code because the code has written by someone else. It is very difficult to understand by other. Understand చేసుకోవడం easier, but if something is wrong, again the new person has to work, right? Then to avoid such a kind of things, nowadays customer is expecting, if you implementing something, you have to prepare the complete documentation, because documentation is the permanent. You have to write each and everything whatever you have done the implementations. It could be pipelines, it could be provisioning, it could be configuration, everything you have to write. And client side, they might have architects. That architect will review your complete documentation, then only they will allow you to sign up from your organization. అప్పుడు దాకా మిమ్మల్ని రిలీజ్ చేయరు. ఎల్లియర్ ఏముంటుందంటే డిపెండెన్సీ. యా, ఇప్పుడు గుర్తొచ్చింది, డిపెండెన్సీ క్రియేట్ చేసుకుంటారు. యా, నౌ ఐ గాట్ ద వర్డ్. సో పీపుల్ ఎర్లియర్ డేస్ వాట్ హ్యాపెనింగ్ ఇన్ ద సెన్స్, దే విల్ క్రియేట్ ద డిపెండెన్సీస్, because if you have dependency in your project, automatically it will demand your salaries as a appraisals, right? బికాస్ ఒక డిపెండెన్సీని, ఓకే షేక్ రవి వీళ్ళు ఇది చాలా బాగా చేస్తారు, మిగతా ఎవరికి రాదు అన్న ఒక డిపెండెన్సీని క్రియేట్ చేసేవాళ్ళు. బికాస్ ద పీపుల్ ఆర్ నాట్ ఎట్ ఆల్ షేరింగ్ దేర్ నాలెడ్జ్ వాట్ ఎవర్ దే హ్యావ్ రిటెన్. నో, నౌడేస్ కస్టమర్ ఈస్ నాట్ ఎక్స్పెక్టింగ్ లైక్ దట్. Whatever you have created within the team, each and everything you have to prepare the documentation to avoid such a kind of a misusing things in the organizations. There is the misusing things, creating dependency, demanding salaries, demanding your needs with your managers. It's not good in the organization. Okay, so the documentation, this is just example to avoid such a kind of a situation. It will give very knowledge documentation to avoid any new person వచ్చినా ఆ డాక్యుమెంట్ చూసి కొత్త పర్సన్ నేర్చుకుంటాడు, ఈజీగా అర్థం చేసుకుంటాడు, ఇవి రాకపోతే నేర్చుకుంటాడు. సో ఎవరి మీద డిపెండెన్సీ మనం డిపెండ్ అవ్వాల్సిన అవసరం ఉండదు. దానివల్ల ఏమవుతుంది, రిసోర్స్ యొక్క టైం సేవ్ అవుతుంది. టైం సేవ్ అయితే కస్టమర్ ఇచ్చే కాస్ట్ అనేది సేవ్ అవుతుంది. సింప్లీ లాజిక్ ఈస్ దట్. So not only does Enclosure automate the process, but also serves a form of documentation, the proper way to initiate infrastructure. You see here proper way to enforce such a cases where employees leave your company. If you see here, employees leave your company with insituational knowledge because code can be version control, right? The same example I have given it to you right now. So like that way, we can do that security, nothing much security part. It's not at all like, security anyhow, when you are maintaining our version code, we have a branch policies, we have everything in the version control system. Only means if someone is accessing my repository, the person he or she should be authorized. It means we need to have a username and password. Otherwise, unknown number will not check in any code into my Google repositories or any third-party tools like Bitbucket or Git. Next. Now, once you understand about infrastructure as a code and advantages, then from here we have to learn our Terraform code here. So Terraform is an infrastructure code tool that allows you to build, change, and version infrastructure safely and efficiency. So just now we talk about that we need to provisioning and build. Of course, we have a changes and we are maintaining our infrastructure using the version control system very safely and efficiency. This includes low-level components such as the compute instances. What is compute instances? Virtual machines and app engines and everything, right? Etc. etc. We have done a lot of things by manual. Storages, buckets, networking, very well. VPC, virtual private cloud, as well as high-level components such as a DNS, domain naming system, and software as a service, means or applications. Manam any application deploy cheyaledu, all are coming software as a service only. I have deployed my Python application, if you remember. I have deployed my I think so Java application in one of the example, I believe. And sometimes I have deployed Apache server. Sometimes I have deployed English server as well, right? Nginx server. So like that way, all are coming as a software as a service, and simply we can do deployment. And of course, by using Terraform can manage both existing service providers and custom in-house solutions. Means existing means already I am using Google Cloud, but my customer is using already including Azure as well. It's called a hybrid cloud. Means in my organization, just assume that my customer is using GCP cloud along with Azure cloud also, but Terraform is a generic for both. Means we can do reusable. Whatever I have written a code for virtual machine, the same code I can use it for Azure as well. See the beauty of this. Whatever I have written the code for virtual machine, infrastructure as a code, the same code I can use it for Azure virtual machine. But simply I need to change the vendors, nothing but a provider information. I can show you how we can change that. But the provider here, provider is GCP. Here in that area, provider is Azure. Because Terraform has designed like that. It's very generic for any cloud vendor. And lastly, Terraform is an open source cloud and the developed by HashiCorp. HashiCorp is one of the famous company. They have developed this HashiCorp. Let me show you. So if you see the Terraform developer by HashiCorp, okay. So they have developed, I think so very recent only. I think so 4 or 5 years back, or hardly 10 years back. They haven't mentioned the date here when they established this. Let me check Wikipedia. I think so 2015 maybe. Yeah, 2015 I guess. Yeah, I'm not sure about the date, but whatever I remember is it was maybe 2015 they have started this. I mean, they developed this tool, and after that it's ruled a lot across the global organizations. Means majority initially it was like Puppet, initially it was Ansible, but those are very kind of a hectic programming languages. It's very difficult to developer to write this kind of a code. So later on they reveal and they come up with this kind of a very simple declarative language, and we have to be learn those as well. Let me show you one small thing how it would be looking like. Some small code. It's not code actually, it's a declarative kind of a parameters. Terraform IO registry. So here also, if you want to run any kind of a template, everything is available in the Terraform site. You no need to write anything, just do copy paste, but some piece of makes sense you would be apply here. You have to put some, మన మైండ్ ని కొద్దిగా just ఒక tricky kind of things you have to use it here. Everything, every code is available here only. Hardly you can change some kind of small parameters like 3 to 4%. You have to, that too you have to write some, let's say I'm provisioning VM, everything is there. You have to write just VM name, VM size. You have to put such a kind of a values. Everything is there. Let's go browse providers. If you see inside AWS, Azure, GCP, Alibaba, Kubernetes, and of course we have a lot of providers here. If you see here, Oracle also there. So my provider is Terraform to GCP. If you click here, everything is there. Let's say networking. I asked my customer asked me to write some network module for using Terraform in order to using the infrastructure as a code. Simply I can come here, click on this, and simply I will take this code, copy, see VPC. This is VPC model. Simply I can take, copy this this array. Yeah, copy this, Control C, open Notepad. Just for the common sense use cheyali ante. Open Notepad and just do paste language XML. Let's say source is, this is my provider, Terraform Google Modules Network Google here. Version, the latest version Terraform is 4.0. Here I need to mention my project ID. How I can get project ID, guys? You have to tell. I don't tell anything. You have to tell. How I can get project ID? From GCP only. GCP console only, right? And here you have to use simple VPC name. How we are giving in the manual, same thing here also. You can use some decent VPC name here. Routing mode, I can't change anything. Subnet, you can use any name. Whatever your architect has given in the Excel sheet, you have to fill all information. Your architect will tell subnet name, you can give this name. That is literally your project name. Let's say I have some implementation, like say test project. I can give test subnet like that. Some decent name. And I have to give IP range, whatever networking team, network engineering team has given to me. I need to give reason, whatever product has given to me. Simply I can fill whatever it is required, and rest of the things already available. Simply here you have to learn how you can use Terraform commands. That part you have to learn. Simply nothing, hardly 5 to 6 commands, but you have to understand the functionality first. Implementation is very simple, nothing big deal, but in the behind what exactly happening, that is most important. Terraform also, writing script and execution, everything is very straightforward, but how you have to use it, that is most important. And which command, what it can be doing in the behind, that is most important. If you understand this, Terraform you can learn hardly within a week, hardly. Where we give very good impression in the technical discussion and as well as in the organization, because it's not a mandatory. As a part of GCP DevOps engineer, Terraform is not a kind of a mandatory, but still if you learn some good, very good, like I'm having just 3 months of experience, I'm having just 6 months of experience, across your experience, that is also give very good boost up in the technical rounds and the organization, because very less people are know about Terraform nowadays, because this is introduced very recent days only, hardly since 1 year it is booming now. And people are not at all like to see this kind of a code, because people will do panic. But if you see this code, first of all, is this code? No, this is not really a programming language, it's not really a code actually. But since this is the template, I need to call as a code. So just I'm declaring already there project ID, network team. Even though I go there, oh, this is project ID, this is network name. Simply I'm understanding. It's not kind of a variable where I need to declare, I need to write for logic, if logic, where I need to create, if it is Java, I need to create public class, private class. Oh my God, here it's not like that. Did you see any kind of a public class? Did you see any kind of a variable here? Did you see any kind of a for loop logic here? Did you see any kind of a global variable declaration? Nothing. Just VPC ఒక VPCకి ఏమైతే కావాలో అన్ని వాడు ఒక టెంప్లెట్ లో పెట్టేశాడు సింపుల్ గా. మనం మాన్యువల్ చేసేటప్పుడు 1 by 1 స్టెప్స్ కంప్లీట్ చేస్తామా GCP కన్సోల్ నుంచి, సేమ్ థింగ్ దే హావ్ రిటన్ ఇన్ ద వన్ టెంప్లెట్. బట్ అక్కడ అలా చేసేదానికి అగైన్ ఇక్కడ ఇంత హంగామా ఎందుకంటే, వన్స్ యూ ప్రిపేర్ ద టెంప్లెట్ ఇట్స్ రీయూజబుల్, it won't miss anything. That's the beauty of infrastructure as well. One time effort, but lifelong it's reusable for customers. సేమ్ వర్చువల్ మెషిన్ ఇంకొక ప్రాజెక్ట్ లో మళ్ళీ వాడు కోడ్ రాయాల్సిన అవసరం లేదు. దీన్ని తీసుకెళ్లి కస్టమర్ ఇంకొక ప్రాజెక్ట్ ఇస్తాడు. లెట్స్ సే నా టీంలో లెట్స్ సే రవి రాశాడు అనుకోండి, ఒక VPCకి ఒక మోడల్ కి రాశాడు కోడ్ వాడు. సేమ్ టెరాఫార్మ్ ఫ్రేమ్ వర్క్ వాడు 100 ప్రాజెక్టులకు యూజ్ చేసుకుంటాడు. కస్టమర్ ఊరికేం వాడు ఇవ్వడు మనకి డబ్బులు. They can utilize like that, reusable, one time hard work, one time set up the framework. Same ఎక్కడైతే క్లౌడ్ GCP ప్రాజెక్ట్ ఉందో అక్కడ తీసుకెళ్లి టెంప్లెట్ యూజ్ చేసుకుంటాడు. No need to write again from the scratch. That's the beauty of infrastructure as a code. So like that way, just sample చూపించాను. Still we have a lot of things where we can learn. Okay, coming into where is next page. Terraform futures is almost repeating. Improve multi-cloud ఇప్పుడే చెప్పాను. So it could be used for GCP, Azure. Multi-cloud nothing but more than GCP guys. In my case, more than GCP means my customer is using ఇప్పుడే చెప్పాను more GCP along with Azure కూడా యూజ్ చేస్తున్నారు అనుకోండి, then we can reusable my infrastructure as a code templates by using Terraform. Automated infrastructure is చెప్పేసాను, infrastructure as a code చెప్పేసాను. Reduce development cost. Yes, again I am just put under the features. Actually I explained this already. Reduce time to provisioning as well. Yeah, of course it's very faster. Yeah, this is the last thing of your Terraform here, and you have to learn only guys these 5 commands. Only these 5 commands. Most important. Very simple commands, not big commands like CLI here. If you see the main commands, init means Terraform space init, Terraform space validate, Terraform space plan, Terraform space apply, and Terraform space destroy. ఈ 6 కమాండ్లు మీ మైండ్ లో వినకుండి ఏ కమాండ్ ఏం చేస్తుంది, బిహైండ్ ద స్టోరీ ఏం జరుగుతుంది అనేది అర్థం చేసుకుంటే you are very good with GCP or DevOps kind of engineer with Terraform also, the additional boost up. Okay, so we do have implementation in the lab as well. We have a labs as well. So when we are doing the lab, we can use Terraform space init. What it can do, prepare your working directory for other commands. No, you can't understand, no, because it has to be need practical. In practical లోనే మీకు అది అర్థమవుతుంది. థియరిటికల్ గా ఈ కమాండ్స్ ఎంత చెప్పినా మీ బుర్రకు ఎక్కవు. దట్ ఈస్ ఐఎమ్ ప్రెటీ షూర్, బికాస్ ప్రాక్టికల్ చూపిస్తూ దిస్ ఈస్ హ్యాపెనింగ్ దిస్ అంటే మీకు అర్థమవుతుంది. సో జస్ట్ ట్రై టు అండర్స్టాండ్ జస్ట్ థియరిటికల్, బికాస్ టుడే వీ డోంట్ హ్యావ్ ల్యాబ్. ఫ్రమ్ ఫ్రెష్లీ టుమారో ఐ విల్ స్టార్ట్ ద ల్యాబ్ one by one. Okay, so initiate means Terraform init means initiation guys. Wherever your working directory is there, this Terraform init means initiation. It will start your working space directory. What is this? Tomorrow I can show you in the lab. And Terraform validation means whatever you have written the configuration template, this Terraform space validate command will validate your syntaxes. Let's say I have written VPC code, VPC template. This I given some wrong syntax. Let's say something I have given submit region. I have given something like ext, something like that. I have given some wrong code. Simply I have given some wrong code. So it will do Terraform validate, will check whether the configuration file is right. Terraform configuration file means my template, simply I can say. So VPC, whatever virtual private cloud syntaxes are proper or not, it will validate. In the console level, what it can do, once I click on create, first it will do validation, then only everything is correct, then only it will move into deploy my any service, right? Here also it will do validation, but by using of command here. That is the only difference from the console and from the by using of Terraform here. And plan, show changes required by the current configuration file. ఇది ఇప్పుడు మీకు చెప్పిన అర్థం కాదు, సో no, I don't want this. I will explain by tomorrow. And apply, yeah, ఇది మీకు అర్థం అవ్వచ్చు కొద్దిగా. Terraform apply in the sense provisioning of my configuration. Let's say మనం VM మొత్తం ఫిల్ చేసి క్రియేట్ కొట్టంగానే నాకు VM క్రియేట్ అవుతుంది కదా, హియర్ Terraform space apply. Terraform space apply and space of my template name, automatically single button my infrastructure will create. Here simply I'm telling storage bucket and VMs. Just think about if I set up an end-to-end infrastructure, ఒక 10 virtual machines, ఒక 10 storage buckets, ఒక application CI/CD pipeline. If I create single template, just clicking on one button like Terraform apply, automatically my infrastructure will create in a single shot. That's the beauty of infrastructure as a code by using of Terraform. Of course, we have Ansible as well, Puppet, but those are very pure programming language. Nowadays, people are not at all go with that kind of a programming language. They have to go very user-friendly language like Terraform. And destroy, you know very well what is destroy. If I want to burst my infrastructure, destroy is the command, but very dangerous command, especially in the production and pre-productions. Very most dangerous command. By mistake, if you run this command, your complete infrastructure will destroy whatever you have configured in your previous task. I mean, మీరు ప్రీవియస్ ఏమైతే ఇన్ఫ్రాస్ట్రక్చర్ డిప్లాయ్ చేసి ఉంటారో ఎవ్రీథింగ్ విల్ కొలాప్స్. So these 5 comments are most important, and by tomorrow we can play with templates. We can play some kind of a virtual machine. Tomorrow I can come up with some lab practice, and we do slowly, smallly we can do implementations and think on all those stuff. So we can try to do some implementations, whatever, as a GCP DevOps engineer, whatever it is required, I can take it as an example. And most probably you're also very happy with that, because don't be panic. This is not all a coding first. Our templates are there. Just we need to put our some decent names, like as I promised you, 2-3% out of 100 only. As a GCP cloud engineer, we need to put 3 to 5% kind of a coding kind of things. Nothing logic, just kind of some small enhancements, because everything just now I have taken as a network. If you see, if you see, where is my models? She's provided a Google platform, and let's say, what is IAM, guys? Everything is available, whatever we have discussed in the last 30 days. What is IAM?
Identity access management.
Super, great. What is G Cloud? It's kind of one of the module. And go to view all modules. Yeah, if you see here, Google platform, and still you can write, where is my documentation? Yeah, documentation. Yeah, if you see Cloud Run, if you want to, we have done Cloud Run with many practicals, right? If you want to run in the Terraform, simply you can come here and simply click on this, take this sample code for Cloud Run. See, this is my Cloud Run, this is US Central, and this is my container image. I use a container image by manual, right? Here simply I'm taking in my template itself. This is my project name, this is my website name. Simply I can host my website. And how I can run my Cloud Run, everything is available in the, just do copy paste and change the names. Let's say in this case my image is not hello, maybe your container name is some practice demo, like that. Just change the hello name. That's that kind of enhancement you have to do. If you've done 3 or 4 practices, simply you can know how we can do modified or how we can enhance your code here. Instead of hello, simply replace give your container name, whatever you have given in the console. And this is very small thing. What is the Google Cloud Run Service IAM policy? Yeah. So for Cloud Run, they're implementing some IAM, Identity Access Management. They have to provide some username here. In this username, whatever you have to give, just replace this username. That's it. Rest everything is common. It won't change anything, because those are the standard templates which are being provided by Terraform tool, Terraform, HashiCorp organization. Let's come, not cloud functions, cloud, not this, this is my network services, this is Kubernetes. Okay, and where is my virtual machines? My favorite, networking, identity, GKU, data flow, compute engine. Yeah, if you see here, my compute engine, this is my compute engine, compute disk. Simply I can take network, because if I want to create my VM, of course, what is the prerequisites for creating a VM, guys? Very basic question. You have to tell. If I want to create virtual machine, what are the prerequisites I need to fill? Let me know. Oh my god, very basic question, guys. Virtual machine day one class ఇది. ఒక VM ని క్రియేట్ చేయాలంటే రీజన్ ఇవ్వాలి, నెట్వర్కింగ్ IP రేంజ్ ఇవ్వాలి, ఆపరేటింగ్ సిస్టమ్ నేమ్ ఇవ్వాలి. ఇవే కదా మనం కన్సోల్ నుంచి ఫిల్ చేసింది. లెట్ మీ లాగిన్ ఇన్ టు దేర్. I'm not really using any new words here, but you way of method I am using in different manner, but the core basics are still common. I'm not really changing anything here. Let's go. Let's go. If I want to create my compute resource like virtual machine, go to compute engine, go to virtual machine instances here. Click create instance. These are the prerequisites, right? In order to, before creating my click button, what are the prerequisites here? Here I need to fill VM name. Same thing I am filling here, like where is my VPN image instance group machine compute machine? Yeah. So same thing I have to create here, provider name and your initial name, and here machine name, and what is your operating system here. The same thing what I am filling here, same thing here I am giving in the template only, not me, by using Terraform basically. They are providing reason name, zone name, and they're giving VM series size as well, machine type as well, and under here we need to give disk as well. Yeah, here also we have a disk, and they have the identity and API IAM as well. And where is network? Network, yeah, here. So I need to fill network, right? Inside the network we have a IP series, right? Let's click on this. If you see here, this is network and this is NIC, this is IP address range name. Same thing I am giving in the template step by step. I mean, not me, I mean Terraform has given sample template for VM. Across global, you can go anywhere, this VM template will not at all change, or the storage bucket template will not at all change. Same parameters, because GCP is the generic console where has given by Google, it's a very generic format. It won't change anything. Maybe values will change. Maybe IP range will change. Maybe names will change. The rest of the pre-configured prerequisites, everything is common only. These all things here they are giving in some kind of a template format, because these are the infrastructure as a code. Everything they have given. But when you're working with Terraform, you should know what is prerequisites. Let's say your customer is asking, please create one module for a storage bucket for using Terraform. But ఒక స్టోరేజ్ బకెట్ క్రియేట్ చేయాలంటే ఏం కావాలో మీకు తెలియాలా ఫస్ట్. అది మీరు కన్సోల్ నుంచి బాగా ప్రాక్టీస్ చేస్తేనే వస్తుంది మీకు. Let's say, okay, please create one module for cloud run or cloud apps. This is the thing. Please implement one module for cloud. This is cloud storage bucket, already explained. Let's go. Cloud run, cloud function, app engine, everything we have done manual. But here customer is asking to you, please write a one module for app engine. Simply go your Terraform template here. Simply under the compute, not compute engine, this will come under, what is that? Serverless. So just go your serverless module, serverless VPC access. Okay, serverless networking, serverless directory. Let's expand this thing. Yeah, this is connector and this is your project here. This is the thing. Everything it's available in by using of these Terraform scripts basically. So like that way you have to compare. నేను GCP console నుంచి చేసేటప్పుడు ఏం స్టెప్స్ ఫాలో అయ్యాను, ఈ టెంప్లెట్ లో ఏమేమి ఉన్నాయి అనేది ఒక్కసారి అర్థం చేసుకుంటే ఇట్స్ నాట్ ఎట్ ఆల్ ఏ బిగ్ డీల్ ఫర్ యూ. But still, in the worst case, Terraform is not a mandatory for GCP DevOps engineers. But anybody interested, anybody కొద్దిగా యాంగ్జైటీగా ఉండి కొద్దిగా అడిషనల్ బూస్టప్ ఇంటర్వ్యూస్లో కానివ్వండి, లేకపోతే ప్రాజెక్ట్స్లో కూడా ఏదైనా ఆపర్చునిటీ వస్తే చేద్దాం అనుకునే వాళ్ళు, just try to my best suggestion is try to focus on this, because nothing you can do hardly 5 to 6 practicals just there automatically you can love, like auto infrastructure as a code, because go to manual is you might get bored after you learn Terraform. I can say like that. Okay, it's up to your choice. So try to do that, at least basics like commands, just నాకు idea ఉందని చెప్పినా కానీ they are very happy, because once you join in the project you might be learn with the Terraform people. But my suggestion is try to do some small VM bucket to ఒక CSD pipeline, ఒక serverless computing, ఒక 4-5 ప్రాక్టికల్ చేయండి. ఇదే ఒక నేను ఇలా ఈ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ నాలెడ్జ్ నాకు ఉంది, ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ ఉందని చాలు, దే ఆర్ వెరీ హ్యాపీ. ఆ 5 కమాండ్స్ వచ్చి 5 కమాండ్స్ ఏం చేస్తాయో చెప్పగలిగినా చాలు, అట్లీస్ట్ ఇన్ ద వర్స్ట్ కేస్. ఓకే, that's it for today. So from Monday we can start lab implementation by using of Terraform scripts, and of course very good, important according to me, and try to understand it. Then let's see how we'll go the things. And do you have any question? I am here for till 11:15. If you have any questions, just let me know. I will try to give answers. That's it for today.
Where will we be using this Terraform commands? Like in Cloud Shell, or do we have any separate kind of tool
No,
for it?
we have a tool. We have separate tool.
Okay, like Git Bash we used like that, or
we have
tool?
a Visual Studio Code, and we have in Google we have a different tool. So tomorrow, Monday, I will show you how we can install that tool. We have a dedicated tool for that. That tool will be integrated with our repositories, because I need to maintain my code into my repositories only, right? So
yes.
Yeah. ఎవరికైనా అర్థం కాలేదండి ఎందుకు ఫస్ట్ అబౌట్ టెరాఫామ్ ఎలా చేస్తాం పక్కన పెట్టేయండి, అది ఫస్ట్ ఇన్ఫ్రాస్ట్రక్చర్ యాజ్ కోడ్ అర్థమైందా మీకు ఇక్కడ? దట్ ఈస్ మై మెయిన్ ఇంటెన్షన్. ఇంప్లిమెంటేషన్ ఓకే, ఒక 1 డే తర్వాత ఇంకొక డే అర్థమవుతుంది మనకి, కొద్దిగా ఎక్కువ ప్రాక్టీస్ చేసి నేను ఒకసారి కానీ డబల్ టైం కూడా చెప్తాను మీకు. బట్ ద కాన్సెప్ట్ ఈజ్ మోస్ట్ ఇంపార్టెంట్. సో ఇన్ఫ్రాస్ట్రక్చర్ యాజ్ కోడ్ యొక్క అవుట్పుట్, దాని యొక్క వాల్యూ బెనిఫిట్స్ మీకు అర్థమైందండి. అది దట్ వై టుడే మోస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ద టైమ్స్ ఐ ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ తెలుగు యాజ్ వెల్, బికాస్ కొన్ని టర్మ్స్ అర్థం కావు కాబట్టి నేను తెలుగులో చెప్పాను మీకు ఈరోజు. సో anybody have any doubt before going to lab implementation, please open up very openly here. This is the time where you have to express yourself. అర్థం కాకపోతే ఇంకొకసారి చెప్తాను నేను, I don't have any issue. This concept is more important, that's why I'm stressing here. Okay, that's fine then, no problem. Later also in coming classes, if you have any doubts, just try to research and I will try to explain you. And Monday also, if anybody have any doubts before implementation of labs, I will try to explain you high level by one more time. Then we can start our lab implementation slowly, one by one. Okay, and have a nice day and have a nice weekend. And okay, thank you.